All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down what feels like a Jedi mind trick for negotiation, and it comes straight from a former FBI hostage negotiator, Chris Voss. This whole thing starts with a bank robbery in Brooklyn, and it did not go according to plan.
So picture this. It's Brooklyn, 1993. Two robbers burst into a Chase Manhattan bank. It gets violent, fast. They pistol whip a guard, a teller, and then they stick an empty gun in another teller's mouth and pull the trigger. For young Chris Voss, this is it. His first massive hostage standoff.
Now, the police on the scene, they figured this would all be over in about 10 minutes. They got a tip that the robbers just wanted to give up. But that was a total lie, planted by the ringleader to buy himself more time. And that one single dangerous assumption, it brought the entire negotiation to a dead stop for hours.
And that right there, that highlights the biggest, most common mistake anyone makes in a negotiation. You assume things. But the great negotiators, they don't do that. They listen. They treat every single conversation like they're on a mission of discovery.
You know, most of us walk into a negotiation with what Voss calls schizophrenia. We're so busy having a debate with the little voice in our own head that we can't actually hear what the other person is saying. So it's not really two people talking, it's four voices all shouting over each other.
So, how do you break through that noise? Well, it's not about having the better argument. It's about turning down the volume on your own inner monologue. You have to make the other person and what they're saying your absolute sole focus. That's the only way you create enough trust for a real conversation to even start. Okay, so 5 hours. 5 hours go by with zero progress. That's when Chris Voss gets on the phone. And he doesn't come in hot with new demands or arguments. Nope. He starts with the single most powerful tool any negotiator has in their arsenal, their voice. Think about it like this. You basically have 3 voice tones you can use. The assertive, commanding voice, almost always a bad idea. The positive, easygoing voice, that should be your go-to. But in a super tense situation like this one, Voss goes for option 3, what he calls the calm, authoritative, late-night FM DJ voice. And look, the psychology behind this is it's brilliant. By speaking slowly, keeping his voice soft, and letting it drop at the end of a sentence, Voss sends a powerful signal. He's not a threat, but he is absolutely in control. He instantly becomes the voice of reason, and it totally changes the vibe of the call without making things worse.
So, now he's got the robber's attention. Things have calmed down a bit. And this is when Voss pulls out one of the FBI's simplest and honestly most effective techniques. It's called mirroring.
Now, when you hear mirroring, you probably think about copying somebody's body language, right? Forget that. In negotiation, mirroring is all about what you say. You just repeat the last few important words the other person just said. It's like a secret handshake for the subconscious mind that says, hey, we're on the same team. You can trust me.
Let's actually see how this worked in the real negotiation. Voss asks the robber, Chris Watts, about a van outside. Watts immediately gets defensive and spits this out.
Now pay attention to what Voss does here, or maybe more importantly, what he doesn't do. He doesn't argue. He doesn't say, no, we didn't. He just mirrors. He repeats those last few words back to him with a curious, questioning tone. That's it. That's the whole move.
And the result? It was immediate. Watts, feeling like he was finally being heard, just started talking. He started explaining himself, and in the process, confirmed that there was a getaway driver, something the FBI had no clue about. The mirror made him feel safe enough to just give away critical intel.
And if you're thinking, okay, great for the FBI, but what about the rest of us? Get this. A study found that when waiters mirrored their customers' orders just by repeating them back, their average tips went up by a whopping 70%. It just works.
So this combo of the calm voice and the strategic mirroring, it started to do more than just pull out information. It actually started to mess with the robber's confidence. It drove a wedge between them that would ultimately end the whole siege.
It was like a domino effect. First, Voss rattled the main guy, Chris Watts, so much that he put his accomplice, Bobby, on the phone. And Bobby, he was scared. He just wanted a way out. By building a connection with him, Voss basically split the team in two, leading to a peaceful surrender and everyone getting out safely.
So, the big question, how do you take this out of a bank robbery and into your daily life? How can you use this simple trick to get through your own tough conversations? To disagree with someone without it turning into a huge fight.
Well, here's a simple 5-step playbook. First, use that calm DJ voice. Second, start with a soft, I'm sorry, not as an apology, but to show you listening. Third, mirror their words. Fourth, and this part is absolutely crucial, shut up. Be silent for at least 4 seconds and let the mirror work its magic. Then, just repeat the cycle.
The power of this is stunning. One of Voss's students used this exact method when her boss tried to dump a massive, totally unnecessary project on her desk. By just mirroring his requests, she got him to rethink his own logic and realize it was a bad idea. She saved herself a whole week of pointless work.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big lesson here? It's that real negotiation isn't a battle. It's not about overpowering someone. It's a process of discovery. The goal is simply to find out as much as you possibly can.
So just remember these key things, all right? Your assumptions are just guesses. Test them. Slow the whole conversation down. Your voice is an instrument, so use it carefully. And practice mirroring. It's the fastest way to build a connection and get the other side to open up.
So the next time you find yourself in a tense conversation, don't argue back, don't defend yourself. Just listen and try a mirror. You might be absolutely shocked by what you discover.